Upending presidential norms has become commonplace in the Trump presidency, and now we have another to add to the list. Speaker Nancy Pelosi wrote a letter to the president citing security concerns due to the government shutdown and asked him to delay his State of the Union, something that hasn't happened in more than 30 years. Joining the conversation now from the Washington Post national political reporter and moderator of Washington Week, Robert Costa. Robert, what is the State of the Union address?
Here at the Capitol, House Democrats tell me that the Speaker is drawing a firm line until the government reopens, and she feels comfortable with the security provisions for a State of the Union address when so many government officials would be here. They're not going to have some kind of televised address later this month, and that's something that House Democrats now in control are sticking with.
What is the sort of political calculation that she's making that should deprive Donald Trump of his lifeblood, stage and TV time to make his case on the backs of these unemployed workers and citizens who are suffering? Or is she trying to get something done on the negotiation over the actual shutdown?
Both. Talking to senior lawmakers, they say they appreciate Speaker Pelosi's gesture. Even some Republicans privately say that because they believe it could prod these stalled negotiations forward. She's following the unconventional playbook of politics that President Trump has long followed, using bold moves, taking the communications front away from him. That has been an area he wanted to use in the State of the Union to lecture lawmakers. She's now stopping him from that opportunity. At this point, Speaker Pelosi, a longtime outside player, is playing the outside game as well.
Kim, you seem nodding.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are seeing at turn after turn after turn, President Trump underestimating Nancy Pelosi as a political adversary, as a negotiation opponent. He is the master of the art of the deal, right? It seems that she has outsmarted him from the beginning, from the moment that he thought he could bring the cameras in the White House and embarrass her, and that didn't work. Where do we stand now? The Democrats are almost entirely united on this, and it's the Republicans that are fracturing. It is Nancy Pelosi using her levers of power. Yeah, the president might still give an address from the White House, but he won't have the body of Congress with Republicans standing up and clapping at everything that he says.
We know how he likes
He
clapping.
loves that. She knows where to go exactly to hit him where he hurts, and she has been doing this along the way in this entire negotiation.
Ron Klain, our viewers can't see you, but I can see you smiling.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got to just cut through the bottom line, and Nancy Pelosi ought to invite Ann Coulter and Rush Limbaugh to give the State of the Union, because they're the people who are going to decide when the government opens again. And as long as they tell Trump he's a wuss to open the government, that's where we're going to be. And I do think this is a smart move by Speaker Pelosi to deny Trump the platform that he wants. But worth remembering that when the president gave that nationally televised address on immigration, it was actually the Democratic response that got higher ratings and more poll approval. So I think she's kind of got a heads I win, tails I win situation here, where she denies Trump this platform. And whatever Trump does, I think her response to that's going to be just as effective, if not more effective, than whatever the president says.
And look, I've been, yeah.
Well, having said that, and I always respect Ron's judgment, of course, on these things, and he may be entirely right, but I saw this happen once in a microcosm level when I covered the state of Virginia, and there was a deadlock in the state Senate there, and they withdrew the invitation to the governor, a Republican governor, to come give his State of the Commonwealth address from the Capitol. He said, fine, I'm just going to do it in my office. And some realized that he was going to have the show all to himself, and they changed their mind and begged him to come down anyway, and he said, no, I'm fine, and he looked above it all. So there's always a possible...
I don't think there's any chance that Trump looks above anything.
No, he doesn't.
Can't
But
get
he can still command the stage. He can still command the stage in a way that members of Congress can't. And the question is, he can, at least to his followers, say, look how petty and partisan they are. They won't even invite me to hear. They don't even want to hear me come speak to them. So it can play both ways.
Let me give you a chance to respond, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, again, we saw this play with the Oval Office address. There's no thing that's more presidential, perhaps, than an Oval Office address. The president gave it. It didn't move anybody on the wall. It certainly didn't move anybody on the shutdown. And again, more people watch the Democratic response. If the president does another Oval Office address, that's not nearly as good a format for him as the State of the Union is, with the Republicans cheering and applauding. And again, the Democrats, the networks will have to give the Democrats a response. I think this is a smart move by Pelosi.
Invite the Republicans to the East Room.
Robert Costa, let me ask you, and I want to follow up on this on the other side of a break, but where do we stand on the substance? It seems that if the wall were popular, the government wouldn't still be shut down. No one's calling those offices saying, give me my wall, give me my wall, give me my wall, or they'd be running to conference rooms to meet with Democrats to get the government open, no?
You're right, Nicole. Speaker Pelosi certainly made headlines with her letter to President Trump about the State of the Union. But here at the Capitol, in my notebook, the big news today, a group of bipartisan senators, Republicans and Democrats, are pushing the White House potentially to release a letter today urging the government to reopen for 3 weeks. The cracks on the Republican side are only growing, and that, more than anything, the moderate rebellion, that's why the White House had some of the moderates over to the White House today. That moderate rebellion is growing, and as public frustration mounts as well, that could be the thing that pushes this shutdown toward a close rather than any kind of tit-for-tat between the president and Speaker Pelosi.
I love that. I want to hear more about this moderate rebellion backed by the public. Don't go any